Do you find it hard to trust that your twin flame is doing the inner work? Do you find it hard to forgive them for the things that they have done? Are you questioning why they're not choosing you and why they're ghosting you or in separation? This is the thing, we have to start questioning ourselves with these same questions. If we don't trust our twin, that's mirrored back. So that means we don't trust ourselves. If we don't forgive our twin, it means we're not forgiving ourselves. And if our twin is not choosing us, it means that we're not choosing ourselves, but that they're not actually choosing themselves either. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing, we have to remember this mirrored energy. We are our twin. Our twin is us. If we're frustrated that they're running, if we're frustrated that they're ghosting, if we're frustrated that they might not be doing the work, we have to come back and ask ourselves all these same questions. And this is one of the most important things we have to remember as well. Your twin can't choose you unless you choose yourself. And your twin cannot choose you unless they choose themselves. And they can't choose themselves unless you choose yourself. It's literally all these things that you're asking yourself about them are things you can ask yourself about yourself. You know, and I'm in this frustrated energy myself at the moment. I think we're all collectively going through it. It's like, why aren't they choosing me? Why aren't they coming towards me? But they're effectively not choosing themselves. They've got, we've both got sides to heal. But you have to ask yourself, you know, why aren't they choosing me? It's because they're not choosing themselves. What parts of their life are they not choosing themselves in? They're not putting themselves as a priority. They're putting other people before themselves. They're not choosing their own needs before others. And that reflects back to you. Why aren't you choosing yourself? And I know personally I can answer that question loud and clear. The reason I don't choose myself and I'm afraid to choose myself is because I don't believe I'm worthy enough. And that's one of my biggest wounds, and that's something that I need to heal. Every time I keep asking, why isn't he choosing me? I'm like, why the fuck aren't I choosing myself? It's that simple. What's within me that I need to heal, that I need to choose me? And if you're finding it hard to forgive your twin for anything they've done, that is mirrored back as well. So what are you not forgiving within yourself? And that's connected to your self-worth as well, because it's this self-hatred or this self-resentment that leads us, again, to feel unworthy. And that stems back to, childhood, obviously. That's where it all kind of originates. But it stems back to other relationships. We're angry with ourselves for being in those relationships. We effectively blame ourselves for being abused. And that's just so horrible. Oh, sorry. I can feel triggers coming up for me now. It's the most hardest, saddest thing ever. Any victim of abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, or verbal, we always blame ourselves. The victim always blames themselves. And it's like this, it's like, why did I let that happen? Why was I with that person for so long? Why did I put up with it for so long? And it never comes back to, why did that person treat me that way? It's like, why did I let this happen? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And it's something that goes around and round in our heads over and over again. It's like, this was always my fault. So therefore, that phrase damaged goods comes into my head. Like, we feel like we're damaged goods. So we're afraid to actually choose ourselves because we've been treated so badly, and we fixate on that. We fixate on that pain that we endured, and we fixate on how people treated us, and then we fixate on how it was our fault. And that forgiveness needs to come from within first. You know what I mean? In order to, we can, when we're in this energy of this unhealed energy, we project all of our emotions, all of our anger, all of our frustration towards our twin flame. And it's their fault. They're not doing the inner work. They're not choosing themselves, and they're not doing the healing. And, they're an asshole, this kind of stuff. This kind of energy can come up. It can. We've all been there. You know what I mean? I've had very, very big moments of frustration where I have given out to my twin flame on the 5D. Haven't done that in the 3D. But, in the 5D, I've been, fucking really angry. And it's getting me nowhere, because you have to actually say to yourself, whatever I'm saying to him, I should be saying to myself. You know, why am I not choosing myself? Why am I not forgiving myself? And, you know, it's another, that thing of trusting them as well. You know, it's because there's a delay in union. And obviously, anytime we get frustrated, it's an indication of what we need to heal. But we go through these doubts. We're like, are they even doing the work? It comes back to choosing ourselves again. You know, they're not doing the work because I'm not worthy. They're not doing the work because I'm not good enough. This is the stuff that's coming into my head, and I'm sure we've all gone through it. You know, they're not doing the work because, you know, they're going to choose somebody else. They're not doing the work because it's easier for them to ignore this connection. They're not doing the work because, you know, and it's just the main one I keep going through is they're not doing the work because I'm not worth it. But if I say I'm not worth it, that means I need to fix that. I cannot expect him to fix my unworthiness wound. That wound needs to be fixed before he comes back. And this mirrored effect anyway. If I'm saying these things, like and it's really sad, like, because, you know, expectation creates reality. So if we're expecting our twin not to do the work, you know, and they are doing the work, but if we're in this energy of the slow energy of going, oh, they're not doing the work, and it's all about them not doing the work, and it's all about them not choosing me, that's bullshit. Just remove that for a second. You know, and I've said this so many times, I do not want to get into a relationship in a codependent energy. I have done that too many times. You know what I mean? And this needy energy means I'm not choosing myself. I'm not standing in my independence. I don't want that. I don't want union to happen while I'm still in this energy. So, but why am I projecting my blame towards him? Why am I so fixated on whether or not he's doing the work? Because at the end of the fucking day, I do not want to be in a relationship if I'm not fully healed. You know, and obviously there's certain things that we will heal together. But if I'm in this needy energy of not choosing myself and expecting him to choose me and to fulfill my unworthiness wound or fucking heal that, it's bullshit. Like, you know, I cannot expect that to be a high vibrational relationship if I'm not high vibrational on my own. We have to come into that inner union separately. And this is what's so important. You know, and obviously any healing we do will reflect back to them. And you see, but if we're constantly fixated on what they're doing or what they're not doing, we're actually neglecting what we need to do and what we're not doing. We have to question that. You know, and I'll keep coming back to it. You cannot expect them to choose you if you don't choose yourself. And they can't be expected to choose themselves, which is what needs to happen as well, unless you do. So it all comes back to you. Where do you need to choose yourself? Where do you need to forgive yourself? Where do you need to start trusting yourself? Because if you're not trusting them, it means you're not trusting yourself. And why don't you trust yourself? Because you don't think you're worthy. And I don't know, it's the same common denominator. These are the three that keep coming up for me. Choosing, forgiveness, and trust. And these three things we project towards them. And it's three things that we need to learn within ourselves and need to heal within ourselves. Choose ourselves, forgive ourselves, trust ourselves. Then we can forgive, trust, and choose them. But they can also choose, forgive, and trust themselves. And that's what's the most important thing here. This is what we have to remember. And how do we do that? And like, you know, the most important thing on this twin flame journey is healing your inner child. Our unworthiness wound stems originally from there. It has been aggravated for years because of our toxic relationships and because of any kind of dynamic where we've felt abandoned or rejected. And this is what comes up every time they ghost, every time we're in separation, is that feeling of rejection, is that feeling of abandonment. And we need to, and when we're actually fixated on what they're doing and are not doing, we're effectively abandoning and rejecting ourselves. Because we're coming back to that same question. Why aren't they choosing me? But you're not choosing yourself. By ignoring your own inner work, you're abandoning yourself. It all comes back to reparenting your inner child and literally giving yourself that validation. Because you cannot expect to seek that validation externally, because it's never going to work. You're going to be looking for the rest of your life if you want to seek external validation, because no one is going to give you the validation that you actually need. You need to validate yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to forgive yourself. You need to trust yourself. And this is so important. So as I said, every single time you're asking your twin those questions in your mind, why aren't you coming home? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't we in union? Because you have to ask yourself, why am I running? What am I running from? What do I need to heal? You know, and I find it very helpful to ask the angels for guidance as well. The angels can't help us unless we actually ask them. And, you know, I could be going through this healing cycle, and I could be frustrated, I could be angry, I could be emotional. And I'll be healing my inner child, but there's obviously different aspects that we need to uncover. There's deeper wounds that we need to get through. And the simple thing of just asking your angels, please tell me, what do I need to heal? What do I need to heal in order to come into inner union? Instead of saying, what do they need to heal? Instead of keep asking the universe, what are they doing? Are they doing the work? Are they with somebody else? Are they ignoring me because they don't like me? Are they not interested in me the way I'm interested in them? All of these things coming into our heads, and all we have to do is ask the angels, what can I do to fix this? What can I do in order to heal? What can I do in order to fix or to forgive myself? What can I do in order to trust myself? Because when we don't trust them, as I said, we're not trusting ourselves, but we're not trusting the journey. We're not trusting the universe. Like our divine twin flame journey is orchestrated by the universe. It's preordained, pre-orchestrated from our divine plan. So it is inevitable. The delays are only there for us to heal. But if we're not trusting ourselves or them, we're not trusting the journey. So that means we're not believing in the magic that is twin flame union. And that's a fact, you know. And how are we supposed to like I said this before, you know, we're manifesting. Manifestation is very real. If we want something, if we desire it, if we can bring it into our lives with our vibration. But we're creatures of, I want this, but is it even possible? And we keep going into this. It's like, I really want this, but fuck off, but you know what I mean? Literally, it's like we're delaying our own thing because we're in such fear and doubt. Why are we in fear and doubt? Because we have stuff to heal around our unworthiness. So that's where the but comes in. And that's where the healing comes in. And we need to have blind faith on this journey. And the only way to have blind faith is to do the inner work. The only way to trust in your journey and trust in your twin is to trust in yourself. And I'll keep repeating that. You have to choose yourself first, forgive yourself first, and trust yourself first before you can actually trust, forgive, and choose them, or before they can choose, forgive, and trust themselves. This is it. So, you know, don't ever think that they're not choosing you. They're actually not choosing themselves. And neither are you. So keep bringing those questions back. If you keep projecting those questions towards your twin, write those questions down. Say them out loud to yourself. Any kind of therapy like that, just introspection. What do I need to heal? Why are they running? They're running because they have something to heal as well, but so do you. This is a two-way street. Both parties have something to heal. This is a fact. So if we're both in avoidance and both projecting to each other this blame, you know, oh, you're an asshole, you did this, and you're an asshole, you did this. No one's a fucking asshole. We just both need to fucking heal. And the sooner we heal, the quicker we come into union. You know, and the longer we're frustrated with each other, the longer the delay will be until we fucking get some wake-up call from the universe to go, here, heal your fucking shit. And it's that fucking simple. It really is. So literally, ask yourself those questions. Go within and heal your wounds so you can choose yourself. Heal your wounds so you can forgive yourself. Heal your wounds so you can trust yourself and so you can trust in your journey. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help me on your path.